Hi guys! There's still so many amazing and unusual things in this world, even though it's become really hard to surprise us. But if you'd like to see something incredible, this video is for you. These shots seem to be from the movie Alien. That thing with some sort of sticky web coming out of its mouth looks really nasty. However, it's a real creature called the Nemertea worm, and the sprout that one of them is releasing is called the proboscis, and it is used for feeding. The worms also eject their proboscis when they sense danger. Nemerteans feed on worms, crustaceans, and shellfish. They immobilize their prey with the help of sharp barbs called stillets, poisonous glands at the end of the proboscis. When the worms aren't hunting, the proboscis looks like a long tube retracted into the body. This is a rather old video that many of you have already seen, but it's simply impossible to forget. A crane was used to lift a car that had been in the river for a very long time. You won't believe what happened next. When the car was already on the shore, fish started falling out of it. Several dozen of them had found their home in the car. Witnesses were shocked and couldn't believe their eyes. That's a weird way of fishing. And this little bird is called the green heron. What do you think it's doing by the water with that piece of bread in its beak? It sounds incredible, but it actually came here to do some fishing. It uses bread as bait to attract fish. I can't even believe that a little bird can be this smart. It could have simply eaten this bread. However, the green heron knows that fish is way more delicious. And these safari tourists were watching the baboons when they noticed that the large male was clearly holding something small and fluffy. Everyone was shocked when they saw a tiny baby leopard in its hands. The tourists thought that the cub was most likely dead, and the baboon had just picked it up. However, it soon became clear that the cub was still alive. The baboon was playing with it like a toy, and everyone was anxiously waiting for it to let go of the cub. However, the baboon had no intention of parting with a trophy like that, but a little later, baboon ran after its relatives, leaving behind the leopard cub that was barely alive. And here you can see a young lion cub that had caught a small monitor lizard and was cheerfully carrying it in its teeth. But then, something very unusual happened. The defenseless lion cub was attacked by a large buffalo that used its horns to toss the cub several meters into the air. It was strange that the lions didn't try to protect their baby, but simply watched what was happening. The buffalo turned out to be a real savior for the monitor lizard. These shots were made by a CCTV camera. A villager's attention was caught by the cows that were running away in fear, having seen a predator. It turned out that the lion had caught a calf. Realizing what caused the commotion, the man stepped up and showed real courage protecting the cows. He picked up a stick and threw it at the lion. The animal turned around and ran away immediately, leaving the herd and the calf alone. According to the man, there are many lions in this area, so it wasn't the first time that one of them had attacked the livestock. Coexistence with big cats has become a way of life here, he said. In the past, Asiatic lions used to live in southern Eurasia, from Greece to India, but now their population has declined significantly. These shots were also captured by a CCTV camera. An incredible water outburst right on the road. It isn't just a regular pipe leak, but a real explosion, as if a whole river had poured out onto the ground. And here you can see another unusual incident. People noticed a shark stuck in the shallow waters. It was a giant great white, and, according to the man who took the picture, the two wounds on its back were made by the propellers of a motorboat. A resident of Norway, Kjell Robertson, decided to get a few close-ups of a seagull and laid out pieces of bread to attract them. However, after eating the bread, one of the birds got interested in his camera. The seagull grabbed it and took off, but the camera kept filming. The footage captured the surroundings from the bird's point of view. After a while, the bird dropped the camera, which apparently was too heavy for it. However, the seagull returned to the gadget and pecked at it a couple of times before flying away. Next, you can see a very unusual way of hunting in the desert. You just speed up in a Jeep and chase after a baby goat, which for some reason keeps running in a straight line without making any turns. All you have to do is just grab it by the horns, and the prey is yours. Base jumping is one of the most dangerous sports. That is why only true and totally crazy adrenaline junkies do it. But what these two French athletes did was really hard to believe. They jumped from the top of Jungfrau Mountain in Switzerland, one of the highest mountains in Europe. But they weren't actually planning to open the parachute at the end. They flew through the air and right into the narrow cockpit of a light aircraft. The cockpit is only 1.5 meters wide, and there's also the propeller, so there were a number of things that could have gone wrong, but fortunately, they managed to do this trick. Paragliding is also very dangerous. Extreme sports are always risky. As it turned out, the danger awaits athletes not only in the air, but also on the ground when training. This was captured in 2017. Everything seemed to be going as planned, and the athletes were getting ready for takeoff at the top of the mountain. But as you can see, the wind was getting stronger. Sudden swirls lifted this person into the air and carried him to the other side of the mountain. It was Boris Tishka, and he was lucky to have not fallen to the ground. After such a somersault, he managed to untangle himself and land successfully. And the following shots will show a real escape from a train in a narrow tunnel. If you have ever seen the movie Stand By Me, then you surely remember the scene where the boys were trying to escape from the train on a narrow bridge. In 2018, two cyclists from Brazil faced the same challenge. In search of a new bike route to avoid a busy highway, they found themselves inside a railway tunnel. But it turned out to be much more dangerous than they thought. When they heard the approaching train, it seemed to be too late to get out, but thanks to some incredible luck, the cyclists managed to escape at the last possible moment. The men remained safe and sound. As you know, mountain climbing is a very dangerous sport, and it's not only because the climber might fall, but also because there's always a possibility of an avalanche coming down, and even falling rocks are very hazardous. Shayan Anwar and his team climbed Spantik Mountain, Golden Peak in Pakistan, but due to bad weather conditions, they got stuck at an altitude of 7,000 meters above sea level. One of the expedition members was trying to film a huge rock with his phone camera, as it fell inches away from him and almost knocked down another climber. No one slept that night. The climbers used whistles to warn others about falling rocks, which kept falling all night. Fortunately, none of the expedition members were injured and everyone descended the mountain safely, Shayan Anwar said in an interview with the media. Undoubtedly, this is one of the most incredible stories of luck captured on camera. Well, that's it for today, guys. Give this video a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.